You know, I actually kind of hate to see this happen to Xbox because it really paints a bleak picture. It certainly paints a bleak picture for the future of their console and things like that. So, to me anyway, I just really look at this and I just kind of say to myself, you know, Microsoft really has a tough time getting across their messaging and things like that. And so for me, yeah, it's not exactly a great look or anything like that. But I honestly just think that it is something that, you know, gamers can kind of look at, and that's why I think many of them are picking PlayStation over Xbox. You know, I really do think that this is just something that honestly blows my mind just a little bit anyway. But you guys might feel differently. I guess we'll see what happens here. You know, for me anyway, I think this is a very interesting kind of story, given that we kind of have an idea of what's going on a little bit more so than before. But anyway, as you guys know, we just had the Thanksgiving holiday, which leads to Black Friday. A big deal usually in the gaming world, where, you know, a lot of consoles sell and there's some discounts and things like that. As you guys might also know, Microsoft didn't really do any discounts. Oddly enough, they did a discount on their ROG Ally, Xbox ROG Ally, right? $100 discount there, but not on the Xbox consoles themselves. Make it make sense. I don't know. It's like when somebody's telling you what they care about, you should really pay attention. However, more bad news is the PS5 sold out after the Black Friday chaos. Amazon was offering the PS5 Pro at record low on Cyber Monday. So yeah, very interesting stuff. The PS5 Slim, both the digital and the standard edition, sold out completely during Black Friday sales. But the good news is that Amazon cut the price of the Pro for Cyber Monday and gives shoppers a rare chance to get Sony's best console at a record low price. For, you know, just for your FYI, the Pro usually costs $750, but the current deal brings the price down to $650, which is a record low. By the way, the $650 for the Pro is the same price as an Xbox Series X regularly. So yeah, there was no kind of price drop there, nothing like that, unfortunately. And you know, again, I just feel like it really puts Xbox in a bad position overall. You know, I honestly would hope that they kind of do something a little bit bigger and better in the future. But yeah, this is kind of unfortunate to say the least. And you know, it's just one of those things where it's easy to see why people are kind of picking, you know, the PlayStation over Xbox. So, you know, again, not everybody. You know, I realize that maybe some people probably bought an Xbox regardless. You know, I probably would have helped them to have some type of deals, but you know, if you were interested in something, you know, the PS5 Pro is really a really good unit. I mean, it's hard to really kind of say. Like, I did a review for one on the channel, and it, you know, with YouTube, there's a lot of compression and things like that when it comes to, you know, the actual gameplay and stuff like that that you can see, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that's something that you know, you can really go past. You know, I try my best to kind of make sure that I use like the better codecs and things like that when I record and a higher bit rate, but still it's going to be compressed, and unfortunately that's something that kind of stinks in terms of, you know, viewing how good something looks. Some people notice like, hey, this really looks you know, this really looks good from a certain point of view and things like that. So for me anyway, I kind of look at it and just say, hey, you know, Microsoft really kind of dropped the ball there with a lot of this stuff, but they could have had an upgraded console. They didn't even really need an upgraded console, maybe a Slim. You know, and you might go, well, the Series S was the Slim. You know, the Series X, that cylinder design I thought looked pretty cool, and even though it didn't have a power upgrade, you probably could have sold it for cheaper. I don't know, just like to me, it would have been able to do something nice like that. But the PS5 Pro enhancement patches for games like Spider-Man 2, Horizon Forbidden West, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth unlock higher resolutions, better textures, smoother performance than that of the base PS5 hardware, which can't keep up with it. You'll kind of notice the difference in image clarity when there's a lot of movement or detailed in open world environments. I think that's where it shines the most. PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution is their custom AI-driven upscaling technology that looks kind of at game images as a pixel level and reconstructs details. So it makes it look native 4K, even with lower quality resolution inputs, which I think is really cool. The machine learning methods work differently from simple checkerboard rendering because it looks at how each pixel should look based on trained models instead of just filling in the gaps between existing pixels. PSSR lets games render at 1440p or 1800p internally and then upscale to 4K with very little loss of quality. So basically, you're kind of looking at something that is almost indistinguishable and is indistinguishable by the eye in terms of being able to tell the difference. So, I really felt like they kind of got out there and they're testing the waters for some of this stuff, which I think is pretty cool. Will they be able to kind of continue and have, success in the future? It's really hard to say. I think that obviously they're going to test for the PS6 or whatever the case may be. Apparently there's some big update coming with like the PSSR stuff next year, early next year. So, believe it or not, that's not that far away. So yeah, there is some cool stuff coming, and that's an exciting thing. Sorry, I just dropped something. But anyway, yeah, that's exciting in my opinion, and so we might be able to see some different things kind of change how gaming is done. And again, for Xbox fans, I think we're losing some of the hope there because what we're kind of seeing is the way that how gamers are basically looking at Xbox as moving to like a PC. So that doesn't really, for someone like me, that doesn't really fill me with hope or anything like that. I really would rather they do a traditional console. And listen, I know some people get on me and they go, well, why don't you just maybe hope for the best or whatever the case may be. And I get it, people want to be hopeful and they want to think that good things are coming, and maybe there is. I continue to have hope that anything could change on the Xbox side, right? I'm just being real about it. Pretty much anything can change, and if they can change direction as fast as they've done in the past, then why not do it again? That it could certainly be something that happens again, and that would be kind of a cool thing, if they did that. Just realize that they're setting themselves up for short-term success at the cost of the long-term failures and things like that. So that would be my personal hopes. I know a lot of you guys might think a little bit differently than that, and I think that's okay too. I just think overall Microsoft's kind of way of thinking is a little odd and something that I just can't get on board with, unfortunately. So hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from this, because again, it's not like I want Xbox to fail. I have thousands and thousands of dollars worth of games. It behooves me for Microsoft to do something good in the console space, and the fact that they might not be doing that is really kind of a bummer to me, and kind of depresses me from day to day. When you see how people are kind of reacting to what they're doing. So I don't know, maybe you guys understand where I'm coming from. Hopefully I would love to see exactly what you guys think in the comments and things like that. Kind of diving back in there. It was kind of a hectic holiday weekend and things like that with everything that's kind of happening, and it was just one of those things. It's been a little bit tougher than even I anticipated. So but I do appreciate you guys. It is trouble though that that PlayStation can apparently sell consoles at $650. And people aren't buying Xbox. Again, I'm not sure. I don't exactly trust VG charts, but going by their latest models on Xbox sales, the Xbox sales are selling around Wii U numbers per month, and that's not good at all. We know what happened to the Wii U, and I know people think that it's crazy to believe, but third parties stopped supporting the Wii U. Why wouldn't third parties stop supporting the Xbox? Maybe Microsoft's big plan is to have everything Windows or whatever, but you guys also have to remember not every company supports Windows with a Windows version of their game, right? That's just the true fact of the matter. So their big ultimate plan to have this quote-unquote hybrid might not even work out the way that the biggest fanboys hope, you know? So, I don't know. What do you guys think? I certainly appreciate the feedback and stuff like that. Hopefully you guys all had a great holiday, and I look forward to doing more videos and you guys giving me some opinions. Thanks for watching. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.